I didn't build my company. It was passed down by my dad. Never earned a penny for myself. No wife, no kids. You know how embarrassing it is, Jake, to see your friends all have families while I'm here partying with kids half my age. You're not a failure, Jake. You're just a kid making mistakes like he should. I don't have that kind of time anymore.
Is it just me, or did anybody else think that this was supposed to be a setup for a victory for Connor? The character started out as the middle-aged man who owned a company, really only joining Disventure Camp because he was bored and wanted to do something different.
Wait, why did you give out the million?
I have a perfume company for women. I never needed the money.
However, he met Rhea, and she has been the worst thing to enter his life. I'm not exactly proud to admit that I like total drama, and I am probably a little bit more of a fan of Disventure Camp, even though the fandom around total drama is pretty embarrassing.
Ugh, screw you, Roll.
I don't know, there's something about total drama that is like really entertaining. And when Disventure Camp came out, I was ready to make fun of it. I love watching things ironically. I love hate watching. It's just a thing that I love to do. And I was ready for it to be really bad. And there are some awkward moments from Disventure Camp, I'm not gonna lie to you.
At least the NPC shuts up when you mute your console.
No, it doesn't work that way.
But I think that I like Disventure Camp more because it attempts to be deeper than total drama, which is pretty juvenile a lot of the time. I guess I like how Disventure Camp feels a little bit more grounded than total drama.
For the next millennia.
My point is, I think that Disventure Camp made a mistake, and I want to talk about why. In the other seasons, we saw winners that were unexpected or really likable characters. In this season, our final three is pretty underwhelming overall. My point is, I like that Disventure Camp did the underdog story for how Miriam won the first season. Being an old woman, it was unexpected, obviously, that she would win. So I think that was a cool decision that they made in that season. And here, they choose the boring gamer girl, the character that people either hate or love, and the character that people love to hate. And I'm not a huge fan of this decision because I thought they were setting something up for another underdog story here, but I guess I was wrong. In season 2 of Disventure Camp, Rhea is introduced as this nice woman, a pushover maybe, and slowly begins to like the control she gets in the game.
Well, the competition got tougher and I have to adapt to the game.
She then begins to mistreat Connor when he helps her out during the finale, because of course she does, and realizes her only focus is to win the game and she doesn't care about who she has to step on to get there. That's how we got to this moment, and it only gets worse for Connor. Connor is this overall great guy. He is somehow really motivating of a person. He's also really understanding of a person as well, which is probably why he gets so entangled in the relationship with Rhea.
Your parents are just closed-minded. Acceptance comes slow.
Well, I don't know anything about those mystical things you practice, but defending a vulnerable person will always be a noble act.
You can't sit around bickering aimlessly and expect things to get done. It's not about who deserves to win All-Stars, it's about who wants it the most. Right. You never let that fire die. The fight is never over unless you let it. If me standing here in front of you isn't proof of that, I don't know what is.
He gives her perfume as a gift for her birthday when he gets eliminated.
Why?
Said it was your birthday today, right? Well, happy birthday.
Connor was already a successful man in name, owning a huge company, so coming to participate in a survival game like this made no sense until he revealed why he came.
I came because I wanted to feel young and all that, but you taught me that age is a virtue.
At first, it's clear that Connor is meant to be one of the characters that gets eliminated earlier on, but he's such a nice guy, willing to help out whoever, that I'm glad that they brought him back for the All-Stars thing. He didn't really get his moment to shine in season 2 as much since he was eliminated so early, so being brought back makes sense, especially with his relationship with Rhea. That will be an ongoing conflict. Going with Rhea only proves to be horrible as a decision, and I'm not a fan of the Rhea and Connor relationship because of the age gap as it is, and the maturity levels, which is why I found the downfall of the relationship inevitable. During All-Stars, Connor would still be with Rhea, but it's clear that she's even worse from the last time that we saw her.
My only mistake was choosing Connor as a helper in the final. If I had chosen Jewel or Carol, I would have won. All Connor did was slow me down. I just told the fans what it wanted to hear. I have a certain reputation to uphold, you know.
I know, but it still hurt.
She's wearing this fur coat and acting like a snobby bitch, and poor Connor just looks miserable as ever.
I know the coat's lace. You don't have to tell me. Wouldn't have brought it if I didn't know.
All right, Rhea, knock it off.
Oh, relax, Connor. Don't get worked up. You have no gray hair as is.
It's clear that Connor is still doing whatever he can to make this relationship work, meaning Rhea can just treat him like a piece of shit and he'll take it. Rhea forms an alliance with Yule, Alec, and Gret and excludes Connor. She treats him horribly and lies to him, getting him voted off the show. Every time he tried to make things work out with her, it got worse. She does something even more horrible and twisted, and I wish this was the last of the abuse that Connor will suffer, but because of Connor's understanding and nature, of course he would accept Rhea and her apology at the end of season 2 after treating him like complete garbage. Because of course, I mean, this older man feeling lost in life, younger woman that makes him feel young and alive, it's really just a recipe for disaster. Honestly, it's watching Connor struggle with letting Rhea go that makes you want to root for him. He wants to believe the best in her and constantly gives her chances, but she continuously fails him.
I've been mistreating you again. I'm sorry for that too.
You're trying, and that's all I can ask. I'll always be there for you. Did you consider leaving Hollywood for me?
I never choose you over my career, asshole.
Maybe if I had tried a little harder, Rhea wouldn't have turned out the way she did.
So a few episodes later, after Connor is voted off, a few characters get to come back and compete for a spot in the game, and Connor is one of them. This is where he gets his moment to shine and gets a spot back on the team, and Connor puts up a damn good fight.
Ah, hey, where are you? Oh, let me go! How dare you? Ah! In the end, you will always lose.
We'll see about that.
And this builds to a point where he finally gives up and throws her perfume in the ocean. And I like that this is supposed to be symbolic and all, but where they go from here is really fucked up with the storyline, because Connor still just goes out of his way to protect Rhea. There's this back and forth where he goes from being her enemy to being someone that he cares about to being an enemy again, and he's depressed a lot of the time. And honestly, it feels like they didn't really know what to do with Connor in this latter half of the season. So there's this constant back and forth between him and Rhea, which gets a little tired at times, honestly. And I feel like this is where they should have had the character really have his moment to finally cut her off instead of going back to her.
I thought if I could make Rhea lose, she could see that her way of thinking was wrong, and then she'd...
Come crawling back to you?
Not very altruistic, is it? I keep looking past her flaws because she was the only light in my life, but after today, I can finally see there's no room for me in her heart anymore.
But it just keeps going in this cycle that gets really boring to watch. And I get that it's nice that he's the type of character to do this, but it also means that Rhea is able to screw him over multiple times, breaking his ankle, constantly putting him down at every turn.
You said, pathetic man. That was the worst challenge performance I ever seen.
I know.
When I broke things up with you, I told you it was because I didn't want to hurt you, but really, it's because you're worthless.
So, was it all acting? Was anything we had real? So this is how you treat me? After everything?
You're pathetic. I never needed you, Connor.
And the moment that they have Connor choose to turn back in this really cringy knight in shining armor to the rescue, it really just went downhill from there. They should have made it that Connor just decided to choose for himself for once instead of going back for Rhea. It would make more sense to me if Rhea didn't ultimately decide to do what she did, which was to betray Connor again and kiss him and then push him off the horse like a sociopath.
Sorry about this. I just mean to push it off the horse. I didn't mean...
Get out!
The episode in the beginning seemed like they were trying to do some Rhea redemption here.
This is difficult to admit. Last night after Alec left, something just fell off with me. I have no problem playing the villain. It's my job after all. So, why is it that Connor makes me not want to do this anymore? What's the point of not caring what the public thinks when you also have to hurt the ones closest to you? What is not caring too much leads to being the worst version of yourself. As much as I'm proud of my success, I can't say Hollywood is for everyone. I don't want this for Asia.
But then they just kinda didn't. So Connor ends up choosing to go back for Rhea again.
Rhea? Why? I loved you more than anything. How could you do this to me? I gave up everything for you. Say something.
That's the game, old man. Have fun in a wheelchair for the rest of your life.
Because the writers need Rhea to be in the game over Connor. After he gets his ankle sprained, it only gets worse from here. He tries to put up a fight with Rhea in the next challenge, but he just really can't keep up, and he just keeps losing.
If you didn't want Allie to win immunity, you should have won it yourself.
I couldn't because you were slowing me down.
Coming this far is a dream for most people. I've given everything I can and then some. I want to win so badly, but like, what can I do?
This is when Connor decides to take himself out of the game, and I know the writers wanted Connor to have a nice moment where he gets to leave the game on his own terms and not let Rhea get the satisfaction, but if we're being honest, the sequence of events with the final four just baffles me. First, Gret goes home at 5th. Are you fucking kidding me? 5th place. Then Connor, the only two I was actually rooting for. There are a lot of people that hate Jake, and I think he's fine. I do like some of the character development that he goes through, but just like Connor, I feel like they kind of keep going in circles with Jake's character because this is a longer season and they have to keep things going. So the progress that the character makes in a few episodes, they like regress it back in one episode, so it just gets really annoying. So we have that character, which I'm not really thrilled about being in the final 3, but also we have Allie, a character that I really can't stand, and they really should have already resolved the conflict between him and Allie episodes ago, because this conflict is literally being dragged out to the final 2 episodes. Allie should have gone home a while ago. There's really nothing that's interesting about her. She's a streamer, she's a gamer, that's great. She doesn't really have anything that I care about going on. There's not really that much development going on with her that I care about that much. Although I hate Rhea and the fact that she made it this far again, it makes sense that she's in the finale because she's the biggest threat, and narratively wise it would have made more sense if Rhea were going to compete with Connor in the finale, because it would have been more rewarding to see him win against her, especially after saying how much of a loser that he was.
I plan on taking you to the final so I can crush you in front of everyone. I want them all to witness you in your last pathetic attempt.
Just know this, Rhea. I'm not here for you anymore. I'm here for me. I'm here to win.
You winning? That's a lot.
We'll see who comes out on top. May the best man win.
It really would have been such a rewarding win for Connor if they did that, but of course that they didn't, because we have to have Jake here. Gret should have also made it to at least 3rd, because in my opinion, she has a lot more development than Jake does. I can even accept Jake being in the final 3 over Gret, but Allie should have been gone by this point. I am so dumbfounded by the decision to keep this character all the way to this point. Clearly the writers have a bias for Jake, and it makes sense to me. He's the protagonist of the story, but Allie has nothing to work with. Her storyline is so basic and boring to me that I can't believe that they think that she's important enough to make it this far. She is supposed to be one of those characters that you get rid of at the way beginning, not the one that makes it this far. Gret and Connor's storyline made more sense for a victory over Allie. I think a bias got in the way here, and I'm sad that Connor didn't really get the victory he deserved.
Ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Look at this little thing. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season that mother flippin' Connor would have the idol? Jake is right. I can't just sit around feeling sorry for myself. But I'm still here, and I'm still fighting. If Rhea was scared of me before, she's not ready for what's to come. This is war. I really didn't think I could pull it off, but I can beat these people. I can win challenges. I'm a whole new man. And Rhea, your day of reckoning is coming.
Like I said, sure, he took himself out of the game, but I wanted him to win. Connor wanted to be able to win something for himself and to prove Rhea wrong, and it really sucks that the show built up this character for him to lose the way he does. It just really sucks. I think that the writers were trying to also extend this to 21 episodes, and they really didn't know how to stretch out the storylines for as long as they could. So that's why we see a lot of circling at points and characters reverting back to their old behaviors. I think character bias got a little bit in the way here, and it just really freaking sucks because this scene here really feels like they were were trying to build up to a Connor victory that just never happened. It's really unfortunate that he won't be able to go up against Rhea in the finale. He doesn't get that big victory that I thought they were building up to. I wonder if this final 3 was their decision the entire time, or if they came up with it later, because it just doesn't feel like a very satisfying final 3 here. They really did my boy dirty here. Connor should have won.
A little Chinese lesson for you.